Okay. First talk of the year. Intention versus resolutions. But first, a joke. So a woman dies, she goes to heaven, and there's St. Peter at the pearly gates, and she's like, oh, so this is heaven. And he goes, not so fast. First, you got to spell a word. And she's like, what word? And he goes, any word you want. So she picks love, and she goes, L-O-V. He goes, great, come on in. After a while, St. Peter's like, listen, can you watch the gates for me? I got to go and do something, and I'll be back. So he goes, and along comes her ex-husband. And she's like, what are you doing here? He says, died of a heart attack. And he's like, so this is heaven? And she's like, not so fast. First, you got to spell a word. And he's like, what word? And she goes, anti-disestablishmentarianism. We as a movement in Centers for Spiritual Living have an intention, a world that works for everyone. It's not a resolution, it's an intention, and it becomes a guiding principle that then moves us forward in how we want to move forward in the world. My wife and I, a few years ago, discovered our own way of finding an intention each year at the beginning of the year. And in doing so, we found that having a word or a phrase that was rememberable so that we could remember it when we needed it most had a dramatic effect on what we did and how we behaved and the practices we took up all year long. Now, a lot of folks, they make resolutions like, I'm going to go to the gym. And then they stop doing it. Or I'm going to lose weight. And then they stop doing it. And the problem is that all those things are process. A resolution is always something you're going to do. If it's something you're going to do, it's a process. And what we want is a guiding principle to guide us through our year so that we don't have to feel like a failure when we're not doing what we said we were going to do, but instead can bring on that idea whenever and as much as possible as we can remember. So a few years ago, what came to me, and we do a meditation with this, at first we were doing it together, but now we both are coming up with our words so quickly. This year, my word is healed. I am healed. That is my intention. And it has more to do with just the physical. I want to feel that sense of allness, wholeness all the time. And that is my guiding principle for this year. My wife's word is magnificence. Now, is that a word or what? To do this, you want to sit quietly. You want to journal or do whatever it takes until that word or phrase pops up for you. So the first one I ever came up with was self-love. And at the time, that was really important to me because I recognized I really wasn't in a place of self-love. Instead, what was going on was a lot of self-loathing. A lot of feeling like a failure and that I wasn't doing well in the world and things weren't working out. And so having this, so I realized that wasn't going to get me where I want to go. And it wasn't because if I'm not having that kind of self-love, compassion for me, how do I get to have it for you? And so it became my guiding light all year long. No matter what was going on, no matter what the circumstance, I would call on self-love. And I have a question around it that I continually use, and that is, what can I do to love myself now, in this moment? And the funniest part about that is as I worked with that for that year, what came up for me was all kinds of stuff that I would not have normally thought of. For instance, take a bath, go for a walk, eat a chocolate, go get sushi, journal, meditate. Actually, that comes up for me pretty rarely when I'm talking about self-love. It's usually something more, I don't know, it changes so dramatically all the time. Go watch the sunset, if it's that time of day, because I'm always talking about now. And a lot of times I'm in the middle of something, even with others, and I'm realizing I got to walk away right now because I'm not feeling that self-love for me. And if I'm upset, I'm certainly not feeling that love for you. And I could use some time to get back to myself here, because the sooner I get back to my own self-love, the sooner I'm still going to start feeling that love about you. Am I the only guy who's ever experienced that? Yeah. I'm unusual that way. So what we're talking about here is a way, one of the things that, for those who know me, I'm very much about practical spiritualism. I'm not for sitting in meditation 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, and then, freaking out all day long. The idea is how do we bring that spirituality into our everyday moments that normally from a human place would be incredibly difficult to deal with? And I know that some people have some really hard stuff that they're dealing with. I have in my life as well. And so finding these kinds of practices that I can rely upon in the moment I'm at not doing my best, or circumstances are not going their best and things are not working out, that's a practical spiritualism that allows me to lift myself up and will allow you to lift yourself up so that you can then see a shift, see a real shift. I mean, the coolest thing in the world, and I know many of you who have been on this path a while have experienced this, is when actually you have forgotten who you truly are, right? When I have forgotten who I truly am, so I'm in the midst of some drama, and I'm freaking out, and I'm acting out, and I'm not being my best, and then all of a sudden, I remember. And I go, hold on. I'm acting as if I'm a human being rather than a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm acting as if there isn't something greater going on here that I can't see. I'm acting as if whatever this circumstance is bigger than me, and it can't be, because there's nothing bigger than that power, that essence, that spirit that is you, that is within you. I mean, the same power that flows through us has also created the heavens, created the stars and the galaxies. There is no issue, problem, anything going on that doesn't have some sort of blessing in it. And I would only know that because I've met people who have had what I consider some of the worst experiences of life and called them blessings. A child dying, losing a limb, living through cancer, and looking back on that and going, this was a blessing. Look what I've created out of my life because of it. I'm like, wow, that's really possible. And so I remember that when I can, apply it in my life when I can, in those moments, and use my intention as a guiding principle. So in that year, I noticed that my ability to love myself grew so much that my ability to love those I love grew. And everybody kept telling me, God, they feel so loved by me. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I feel loved by me. And I didn't hang it on a particular process or one particular practice, but that question of, what can I do to bring this into my life now? Whatever your intention would be. Remembering that question and bringing it in has a very practical impact. It can if you let it, if you really let it in. So there I was that year, just feeling, watching myself, and many times still experiencing. It's not like, poof, self-loathing went away. It wasn't like that at all. What it was slowly but surely just watching how much more often, where it used to be, 80% of the time I was in self-loathing, now it was 20% of the time by the end of the year. That's a huge difference. That's the kind of difference that changes a life. Changed mine. When you get to a place of, oh yeah, in this moment, I can be loving myself. Oh yeah, I know how hard this is, but in this moment, I can be loving myself. So that was really powerful. The next year, my word was power. And in that year, this place came together in ways that I could have never imagined. In terms of our finances, in terms of people showing up, in terms of people taking classes, I focused on power. And I watched those around me become more powerful as I grew in power. So once again, these words, they don't just impact you. They impact those around you so that they can grow. And then you can acknowledge their growth because you're thinking about it. Have you ever noticed that anything you're thinking a lot about, you see more of? That's what happened with my car, right? I was thinking I wanted a 100% electric car. And I hadn't seen very many on the road. And so I saw an ad for this Fiat, which I did finally wind up getting. But what the funniest part was is after I saw the ad, after I said, you know what, I'm going to get me a Fiat, then all of a sudden I'm seeing them everywhere. You think they weren't there before? They just showed up because all of a sudden I said I wanted a Fiat? What we focus on, we give power to. What we focus on, we start seeing more. What we focus on, we see not only in ourselves, but those around us. You focus on self-love, you're going to see that in others, and you're going to support bringing that out. You focus on power, you're going to see that in others as you bring that more up in yourself. So this year, my word was healed. And I have, throughout my life, dealt with healing a tremendous amount and done some miraculous things around that. Many of you know, 24, 25 years ago, I was in a hospital bed with surrounded by doctors who told me I had 5 days to live. I have, on top of healing everything that was going on with that, I have also dealt with allergies up the wazoo and other things, and they've all cleared up. And yet there's a part of me that still feels there's more healing to go. And I have felt that way my whole life, and I'm like ready to just have it be healed. Now, do I know how to do that? Well, I know practices. I learn a lot around here about how I can think about things and what I can do. But what I know most is asking the question. When I'm upset, when I'm out of sorts, to ask the question, what can I do to be healed now? Has already, in the 3 days of this year, had me shift many things that I thought I was going to do and instead did something different. Because I got that because I listened to my inner voice. I mean, that's the other side of this. If you're going to ask that question, you got to be willing to follow whatever pops up, no matter how silly or crazy it might sound. Like for me yesterday, I was upset about something I was working on, and I'm taking this walk, and then all of a sudden I asked the question, what can I do to be healed now? And what popped up is go have matzo ball soup. So I did. And you know what? I did feel better after. I felt a lot better. And I was laughing at myself about that because at first when it popped up, I was like, I don't know, matzo ball soup. It's really filled with a lot of fat and salt, and I don't know that it's very good for me. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I know better than this. I know to listen to that inner voice. I know that there's something else going on here, a higher healing that is for me to follow. And then I did. And sure enough, I felt tons better after. I was like, oh, wow, of course. Because our higher selves know. I don't know for you, but you know for you. You know if you ask the right question. And your higher self, that part that's so connected to spirit and with you all the time, is yearning to tell you. It's in your ear whispering all the time. And this is just a practical way I have learned to open that door. Crack it open just a little bit more and then a little bit more. Ask that question. What is mine to do now around whatever word comes up for you? So first you got to discover your word. I highly, highly recommend having a word or a phrase. It's powerful. It has been for me. We've been doing this for a while now, and it is life-changing. It's not a resolution. It's not about going to the gym, changing your diet, eating better. It's about having a guiding light that you can call in, that then your higher self knows, oh, this is what this person's after. I can support them in this. So your higher self gets to support you in what it is you want by you asking the question, bringing in that wisdom that you have. You have this wisdom. It's in you. It's in all of us. There is something in me that keeps yearning to break through and come out. And honestly, I don't know exactly what it is. I can feel it. I can feel it going on, and I keep asking the question, and I keep taking those steps. One thing I have learned how to do is be with the unknown. It's a powerful place to be. I don't run away when I don't know what's next. In fact, I step into it. And by doing so, I allow miracles to show up that wouldn't have been possible if I'd turned away, said no way, let my logical mind talk me out of it. I have an incredibly logical mind, and it can talk me out of anything because it's really good at it. But it's up to me to hang in there and go, no, there's something greater going on here. And I encourage you to know for yourself there is something greater going on here than you can see. You have a guiding light. You have something within you that wants to grow, to be something spectacular, to be something wonderful, to be something that shows us in the world that we really are those light bearers. We really are the ones who can create the world within us to be without us. Be the change you want to see in the world. It starts with each of us. It starts with every interaction we have. Let yourself be guided by that which is higher within you, especially when you feel like you're freaking out. That's the time you want that guidance the most, because it's there going, I'm here for you. I am absolutely here for you. You are not alone. You are never alone. I'm here for you. Ask me. I'm here for you. I love you. Thank you. So last week, I was given a bunch of questions in which I got through 5. And was wondering if you guys would like to see me more often collect questions and ask them. And how often. So it's been spoken about doing that once a quarter, but I've been thinking about even more often than that, maybe once a month, if that's something you'd like. So you need to tell me right now, would you like me to do a Q&A up here instead of just having a straight talk like I did today once a month? Raise your hand. Let me see some hands. Oh, good. Yeah. All right. Good. So next week will be a Q&A. How's that? We'll do another Q&A next week. You guys up for that? Have your questions ready. Bring them. I'll add them to the group I have now. I mix them up, and we'll just see what 5 questions I get to, and we'll just keep at it until everybody's questions are answered. How do you feel about that? And we'll intersperse it with talks like this when I'm particularly inspired by something. All right. This is the part of our program where we pray on somebody. We have one courageous person come up here, ask us to pray for you, and we do. So who's going to be that courageous person today? Will, come on down. Tell us what you want us to pray. Look at them.
To manifest body, mind, and spirit as the difference only I can make.
Nice. All right. All right, let's have 8 to 10 folks come up here and lay hands on this man. Take a couple of steps back. There you go. All right. We need a couple more. 1, 2, 3. So everybody else, close your eyes. You folks online, close your eyes, take a deep breath and relax. And start out as we always do by feeling that love, power, healing energy within your own heart. That love, that light. Feel it within yourself. You folks online, feel it within yourself. And now let it expand to where you feel it throughout your entire body. Your healing, loving energy healing you. And now let it expand until it fills the room and you can feel everybody else's healing energy. And you folks online, send us yours too. Combine with ours and take it back. Feel it all as we now take this wonderful healing, spiritual family energy and let flow it down through Will for his full manifestation in life, knowing for him that he is whole, complete, and on purpose. That his life purpose is done here and now. That he knows who he fully is.
My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you.
And we know that Will is filled with the healing power of the divine, with the crystal clear vision of who he is in life, in this world, right here and right now, serving as his full manifestation of the gift that he is. And I am so grateful for the power and presence of our community, of our spiritual family, and that we stand for the highest and best in each of us as we all say together, and so it is. Right. And that is the power and presence. That's what we teach around here. This is why we come together, to stand in this place for each other, to know that there are others who will stand with us for our highest and best. That's why I show up. That's why each of us show up, so that we can know for not just ourselves, but for everyone here, their love, their light. And so it is. All right. All right. We now move on to the part of the program where you take out what you're going to give. You hold it in your hand. You unfold it. Doesn't matter whether it's $1, $10, $100, $1,000, deeds of property, diamond mines, gold mines. Hold them in your hand. Because this is the power and presence. This is the God energy, the spirit energy that we get to give and receive as we say our affirmation. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What I give, I receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am, and so it is.